I think, so going through grad school, of course I was supposed to learn, but it was also very much I felt this performance expectation. Like I had to know the answers. I had to perform. I had to be an expert on something. And then, trying to get tenure, I had to be the expert, and so I think once that pressure started to release a bit, I started to see, hey, I really, it's not good for me to go around feeling like I have to know everything. That's a fixed mindset. It's not a growth mindset. I need to be more open. What can I learn from other people? And so it was somewhat of a deliberate shift. And I was also responsible for directing this critical thinking program across the university. And so intellectual curiosity, intellectual humility, these were virtues that I was espousing. And so it was a great opportunity for me to start trying to make this shift mentally.
Did you feel like what was that like for you? Did you feel like pressure coming off your shoulders going at like I have to be this expert to like okay let's explore this and ooh what can this person add and what does that person bring to the discussion or what was that like for
Oh,
you?
100%. And, for those who might be only listening, like I really like the demonstration you did where you actually like showed the pressure on your shoulders and how that can release. And yeah, it's very much how it feels, and of course that doesn't exonerate us from doing hard work, but we don't have to be the experts in everything. We can just be curious. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because I've noticed it even throughout this podcast with certain people I interviewed. Even like one recently, I had on Brad Beeler, who's a retired Secret Service agent and done all these polygraphs and stuff. And I noticed, like in my body, when he was talking about certain things, I felt like, oh, I should know what I'm going to ask him next, and like, and I noticed I was like, there's so much tension versus
Right.
just seeing where it went and not knowing. And I'm sure there's plenty of people listening that are like have no clue. So it's like, why not just be, the person like asking and letting him be the expert, so to speak.
Absolutely, absolutely, and I love it because if you watch some of the most brilliant people, they're not there to try to impress you with how much they know. I mean, some of them are, and it's kind of annoying, but a lot of them, they they just have a great presence, and they're just curious, and they ask you questions.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They draw you in or they draw you out to that, um, so you can pull on that thread.
Right, right, right,
Yeah. Yeah, so like you talked about doing some of the, that article on
right.
how you and David met, right? What was the title of that article? Or
Oh
the or
goodness.
the or the context of that article? Do you remember?
Well, the core issue of that article was that culture drives performance, not the other way around. Which like organizational culture. So we kind of know this implicitly, but it had not been scientifically tested, and it was also plausible that a well-performing company that's making good money or meeting objectives is going to then feed into a positive culture. Which we didn't find much evidence of that. We really found that the culture is what drives it, which that's kind of it's a nice take home message. It's actionable. I mean, culture change is hard work, but it's that's what we want to focus on, and then the outcomes will follow.
And how do you define culture?
Oh goodness, so that's been a minute. So organizational culture is kind of like the shared way of doing things around here. So it's the feel of the place. It's the set of principles and values that are reinforced throughout. It's this. It's managing and mastering this tension of internal integration with external adaptation, and how do you manage that? And so it's yeah, the way things are done around here. So it's the lessons that we learn as we go through, and so it can be useful for somebody to come in and try to foster better ways of learning and doing. And are we too navel gazing as an organization? Are we too just adapting to whatever is trending here or there as an organization? Because then you lose, your consistency and your ability to to do things efficiently. And so it's managing these competing tensions.